Helen, we've got the group together with us now, but they're individuals. We're going to treat them as individuals now,
Right.
not the big group that played for us a few months ago. We got Dustin in the middle tonight.
Because it's Dustin
It's
in the hot
Dustin's
seat.
night, and then we've got accompanied by
very
Aubrey
hot.
Lynn and Justin Till.
Yeah.
And this is kind of deja vu all over again, as Yogi said. So, but tonight we really wanted to honor your music, Dustin, and I know that they sang some of the songs and you sang some of the songs, but the main thing we want to do is who you are as a songwriter. And the first time that I heard you and Aubrey play together, I realized who you were as a songwriter. You're one hell of a songwriter.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so it's great having you guys here. It really is. Tell us about Dustin Hendricks. Where'd you come from? Where were you born and raised?
I was born in McKinney, Texas, and raised in Blue Ridge all my life. Had the perfect childhood. You know, there was never really anything wrong. Mom and Dad stayed together. We were in the same house. They're still in the same house.
Still in Blue Ridge?
Still in Blue Ridge. Yep.
Yeah.
That's where we're moving to now. We're building a house in Blue Ridge on my grandmother's land.
Cool.
Wonderful.
And that my father handed down to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, and simple. I was raised right, taught what right from wrong. Remember who you belong to. And
Did you go to McKinney High School?
I went to Blue Ridge.
You went to Blue Ridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I spent-
graduated there?
I spent 18 years trying to get out of that place just to go move back home.
You know,
Isn't it funny how that
I
works?
lived everywhere in Collin County, and nothing's like home.
Yeah.
The older you get.
the more
more from
drawn
there.
back you are, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. I used to feel a lot of that about Denison, being born and raised up there.
Mhm.
And every time I go up there, it's like the town is stuck in time,
Yeah.
know. And I mean, it really is. And
It really
it's like, and then I realized I did my time there. I did, and it was great. The minutes that I lived in Denison, the friendships I made, I wouldn't change for anything. But this is where I am now.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to go back, but I totally understand
Mhm.
your
Yeah.
draw. I
Yeah.
totally get it.
Yeah.
I think many people experience that.
So, how old were you when you got the bug for playing music and songwriting?
Probably two individual things right there, but
Well, yeah.
Yeah, really. I got the bug probably around, I might have been 6 or 7, and my dad taught me how to play Hotel California. And he used to play before his fingers, and he works in the water company, and so he's 40 years of putting pipes together, and it's hard for him to play, but he taught me how to play Hotel California and Wipeout. And at that time, Hotel California was still on the radio pretty heavy.
Right.
And so I got to hear that thing I'm playing, and it sounds the same,
Yeah.
and that bug caught, and I realized I couldn't dig a ditch or, make pizzas for the rest of my life, and that's the only real thing I was good at.
has your desire to play music always been there? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
because I find you had mentioned earlier that you feel like you're reserved and rather shy and, drawn back a little bit from the public. How does that work when it comes to playing music live? Because, we got to do this.
It's
in
a
front of
challenge
people.
every time, It's I try to take myself and put myself in an uncomfortable place a lot of times to fight it,
Right.
Things I'm most scared of, I try to face head on most of the time, certain things.
Yeah.
And
Well, we're all little boys sometimes. We
Yeah,
run from
yeah,
the
I
dark
get-
sometimes.
when it's your music, it's not, you're not Leonard Skinner, you're not Prince, it's your music, and
Right.
so
Right.
there's that self-conscious thing that's
Now, when
that's
did you-
deep.
when did you
what if
fi-
they don't like it, or what if
When
I
did you
suck?
find that out, though? Like Helen was asking you, I understand you can be drawn to play Hotel California, but when did you realize you had a Two Old Fools in you? Because that's a great
when
song.
it came
by
out
the
of
way.
out of the pen, really.
Yeah.
It really, for me, it was 2013 or 14. I was making music for other people and working in the studio, and I wrote a song about my grandmother from my mother's eyes, which is kind of the same kind of Two Old Fool idea, called "See You Bye," and I realized, like, hey man, I got some crap
can do this.
I need to get through here, and so it kind of became my therapy every time there was
Yeah, I
a
was going to say,
traumatic thing.
how didn't you feel a
Yeah.
little bit like,
Yeah.
You know, like you could relax
It was a
a little
release to
after
hear
Getting it out.
You know, and it's still those kinds of songs still make me cry and tear up and stuff, and I wipe it off and you know, windshield wiper it. But I mean, I know that helps me deal with it rather than shy away from it or.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Steve Goodman said, "I never wrote a song. I just wait on the next verse." And I think that's kind of what we all do a little bit. We're hoping we can whenever I know. Well, okay. Let me ask you one of the songwriter questions here.
Okay.
I don't know. I have this fear, and I think I've talked to a lot of other songwriters. Do you ever, like, after you finish a song, just afraid that's the last one you'll ever write, or you feel like, oh my God, can I keep doing this? Can I, you know?
I've got a voice memo on my phone with "Can't Live It Down," and it says the last song I ever wrote. So yeah.
Really?
These days I feel like every song I write is the last one I'm gonna do. You know, you never know. And the
So
more
you're trying to
the more
treat it
songs
that
you
way.
write about the certain subjects, you know, the less you have to write about. You know, I've got plenty of songs where I wrote one verse and said, well, that's all I got to say about that. You know.
But you know what? The world's going to keep on going, and you're going to keep living in it, and things are going to happen, or something's going to strike you, and you're going to have to write about it. So
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, I mean, I
will
never
last.
like, you know, the Nashville
No,
guys,
but-
like the things you go to in Nashville, they sit down and make it a point to that we're gonna kick out 10 songs or something.
See, I couldn't do that.
I've never written a song that
I can't think like that.
I've never written a song that I meant to write. You know,
Right.
I've
They
never,
write you.
I've never written a song or sat down with a piece of paper or my phone or something and tried to write a song. It was me with a guitar just noodling around, and then something strikes, and it's usually like the first line of the song or the leading line into the hook line. You know, like the what you hand down. The you may not know this, but you wrote this thing. That was the song.
Or what does
And
this
what-
guitar lick sound like?
Yeah.
What
And,
does
yeah,
what
and
does it bring on
It creates
emotionally?
it creates that little electricity that takes you to a memory or
That mood.
to an idea, or sometimes to something you've never experienced before, like Crooked Man or.
So did you, of course, for those that don't know, Justin is a great friend, and this lady is your bride. So
Yeah.
just to make sure everybody understands that, how did you find that you could work with them in the form of writing, or do you?
Oh, we
Or
do
do
a
you
little
all
bit.
write
We do.
individually, or do you write together?
Justin writes a lot of his stuff on his own, and I've been trying to get a collaboration with him to sit down and actually write a song. But again, we don't try to write songs, so it's those kind of things come out personally, and we co-write together. But usually I've got something set down like guitars or one verse, and then she'll finish a verse for me, or
No, I usually never wrote any of my music by the way that he is playing a guitar and then something striking a memory. I would have, I'm a singer, you know, and then these little ditties will come to me, the little melodies, and I'd be in the car or something and record it on my phone, and then that's what I would go try to put some music to or some chords,
Right.
you know, and he taught me to flip that thinking. He said, flip that thinking, hold it down, flip it around. And he had a song on the autobiography record that it kicked off the whole record, and he had words written to it, and he had the chorus, the hook was there, but he said, I want you to take this piece and with this chorus in mind and how it's going to end and that it's kicking off this album. He wasn't making it easy on me. He said, I want you to take that and write 2 verses in the beginning of the song. And I said, about what? Like, you know, I'm ready to take some notes. You know, he's got a direction. He said, just however you feel about it. And I'd never really done it that way before, and so it made me peek into the way that he was doing that from the opposite perspective, and I did what I do, and I sat there and I listened to those things, and it triggered something, and I went, I got it, and sang it in my phone, and then it was, he didn't know what I was writing, I didn't either till it came out, but then whenever I went in and sang it, he was like, that's perfect,
Yeah,
and it was
understood.
cool how
It's
it
a-
just blended that way.
it's an approach I take in the studio when I'm working with other artists and their songs. Like, I'm here to document you. Like, you're the guitar player, you're the singer. You do your thing, and I'll take from what you do, and see if we can embellish it, or you know, like I'm using that as the muse to create that documentary of
Yes.
their music. You know,
Yes.
so like if they're the guitar player, why would I write the lyrics or give a direction to the guitar player, you know.
Right.
Tell us about your studio.
War Room Studios. It is it's been several different locations now. I started it in Sherman, and it was just the upstairs room where I wrote Riot, and just a ton of upstairs game room that was converted from the attic. Hot, it was nasty and dark and all that kind of good stuff. And when we moved out of there, it moved to my parents' house for a minute, and then we found a house in Farmersville, and then we moved to Princeton, and we moved out of Princeton, and finally we've gotten to a point where we can build, and we're building our home, and inside of that home is actually, we're putting a real studio with floated floors and floated walls and all the
neat.
crazy
The big
angles.
window.
Yeah.
You know.
The big window, the full
The
9
booth.
yards, yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
I'll be in a real booth, and
Yeah.
Justin will be in a real booth this time instead of in
yeah,
a closet.
it'll be air conditioned in the booth and stuff. You won't be in the attic singing. And,
It's gonna be fancy.
yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
well, we want an invite to that grand opening when that
Oh,
happens.
yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
yeah, we were hoping to do like a big open house type of deal once it's done, and have
Oh,
all
that'd
of
be
our
wonderful.
singer-songwriter friends come in, and we track them, and we just sit down in a circle in the studio.
You
and
record
live-
me instead of me recording you.
There you go.
Yes.
I do it.
There lies an interesting thought.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
I
gonna
like
be real
that.
nice. It's floated floors, hardwood floors, 20-foot ceilings in the recording room, so I mean, you're gonna get that big sound that's just not in Texas anymore. Nobody has that kind of big room anymore, you know.
Yeah, the only room that I would know that's like that was the one that used to be behind Austin Opry House, and they're not even using that
Yeah,
studio.
exactly. Yeah, nobody has
Because
it.
they could do, Larry Tilford had that, and that would do, he's had orchestras, and he had room for that in there.
Yeah,
know.
all my little rival studios and engineers, all their places are like 10-foot ceilings. They're like converted warehouses and office buildings, you know, and they don't.
Right.
And I've noticed it over the last 10 years that there's just no big sound anymore. You know, everything's so tight and close and dry, and there's no character in any of the tracking that's happening on the radio, at least for Texas music.
I agree.
So, hopefully I'll be able to have an avenue to change that for at least
Yeah.
a few smart artists that decide
Well,
to come
also,
with it.
you open yourself up to, in that kind of room, to be able to record choirs
Yeah.
and other things, because
Oh, yeah.
there's a big market recording church choirs.
Yeah, and my oldest son, Stryker, he's started playing the sax this year in his school band. Well, I mean, small town of Blue Ridge.
There
get
you go.
Get the
built-in.
school band to come in and get them to record, and they have a
Yeah.
product for all
and,
the
and
students.
have a room being able to do it in.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
something that's special.
You did sax too, didn't you?
Mhm.
I played.
She played.
I played in school,
school.
but he can play. Yeah, he can play
That's
anything.
So neat.
Okay.
Can't
So-
do fiddle.
We're working on that fiddle
Tried.
thing. It's
So-
hard.
I want to go back for a minute to your songwriting, because I found that in listening to your songs, you deal with things a lot of people think about.
Yeah.
Which is the whole idea. If you can do that as a songwriter, you'll have people listen to you. They'll perk their ears up, and I think that's what when I listen to your things, it's reality. There's a lot of reality in your music.
I'm a realist.
You know,
I don't get
There's a lot
excited
of
for
reality
things.
in
I
it.
don't get discouraged about things coming up. I'm just like, well, here's the possibilities of how this could work out. This is probably what's about to happen. You know, and
Don't-
it usually does most of
Don't
the time.
hurry and don't worry is my
Yeah,
motto.
see it for what it is. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't sugarcoat yourself. The only person you can't lie to is yourself. And you know that. So
Yeah. Now, what are your plans next? So we're going to be seeing you guys again here in 3 weeks from tonight. And what are your next plans of what you guys want to do together, the three of y'all?
That's a big question.
put some records out that I haven't
Yeah.
finished yet. Maybe we've
The
got
hardest thing to do is to
we've
produce
got
your
4
own music.
albums that are in the can. I just got to finish them. You know, finish mixing. They're done. Like there's a love record, and there's like a blues record, and a one called Hendricks Purple, which is like our collaborations of songs. Like they're all done. And
Neat.
we've
Yeah.
been listening to them for a year or two now. I just
Well,
can't.
share those with the world.
I
Come on,
can't get
Dustin.
I can't get around to
Well,
finishing them, and
he's
now that we're
had to go
building the
room to
studio,
room.
Send me
like,
the tracks and I'll mix them.
He's had to go room to room, and every room, and no matter what you do it and how you treat that room is different. And then he'll do the car test, and we'll burn it off on the CD, and we'll go and listen. And he's like, dang it, like it's just one thing or another, and it's just sound things. So building this studio is something I'm so excited for him about, because he'll actually have the legit professional angled, sound acoustic treated things that.
Then he's got to
that's
rethink
what I'm waiting
Yeah.
on right now. We're trying to put out this Red record full of love songs, and where we're staying right now is I've got like a little setup, kind of like you do in there, and it's about a 8 by 10 room, square room.
Yeah.
8-foot ceilings. The house was built in like the 70s or something, or 60s or 20s or 1800s.
70.
and so I've got sub in there, and then these high quality speakers and all this kind of stuff, and it's just hard to get a transparent product out of it, because no matter how much you tune the room or baffle it, it's just not designed to put out what you're wanting to hear. And so you go to the car and it's got too much bass in it. You take the bass out, it's got too much high end in it. You go back and you do it again, you do it again, you do it again. There's only so many CDs you can buy.
And what you have to do is decide.
Yeah.
Just
You
decide.
gotta let it go. There's no finished mix, and there's no finished record. That doesn't exist.
I mean, even look at what's going on with the Beatles stuff right now.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to the Beatles release that came out 3 days ago, and listening to it today, and it was mixed by George Martin and Jeff Emmerich's sons.
Yeah.
And it's a different mix. I mean, it's different thoughts toward the whole.
Well,
what
and
was
he's
recorded.
got such a deep connection to the work that we're doing and Justin's doing, and people are close to us because they're babies. All the little songs and all the sounds and all the instruments and all the tracks they've got to be just right, and he wants them all to be heard and where they're supposed to be heard. And he'll work on other people's music that he'll play on it, and he's on the tracks and stuff, but it's almost like a double-edged sword when it's our music versus someone else's, because he can get that and it's great, and they're getting the Dustin Hendricks
that'd be
quality.
in and out in one
It's
day.
But when it's
different.
Dustin Hendricks music and getting Dustin Hendricks quality,
That's what I'm saying.
It's like
the hardest
never
thing
ending.
for
You're a
me and
perfectionist.
for us to record is
Yes.
us, and it's the same way here. I mean,
I've got you've got an idea in your head of what anything should sound like, and when it ain't there, it ain't there. And so you got to find that. I've done that with a couple of songs on the Red record.
And it
you just
may
got
be
to find
the
that spot to
mix.
go. Okay,
it may be the
let
mix,
it go.
not the recording.
Yeah, it's absolutely the mix. Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely
you got
the
too
mix.
much in there.
yeah. Oh, that's the problem.
Maybe it's too busy.
There's so much I want to hear, and
Yeah.
how do you cut out the most important part of the song to make room for the most important part of the song?
Well, when he's so good at being the producer for other people, other clients,
But
he says, "I need an
It's a
executive
different
producer for
objectivity
us."
when you do your own. When you look at
And
your
it can't
own
be me,
music,
because I'm like,
you
I like all
chew
of them too.
yourself to
Yeah.
pieces,
Yeah.
and you can't make decisions that you can make on other people.
Oh, I know.
You
yeah.
know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
I do. Yeah.
I can make decisions on other people's music like that.
Yeah.
Mine,
Well, I could hear somebody, and most of the time people come in with an acoustic guitar and lyrics, and that's it. And I got to figure out drums, usually within the first 10 seconds. I already know what that song is going to say. I can hear it in my head. I know how the drums are going to be. I know how the bass lines will be. I know how, or if it's going to have fiddle, or if it's going to have,
Keys,
keyboard,
whatever,
or, or piano. I can hear it already. But with my stuff, all I have is my acoustic guitar and lyrics.
Yeah.
So now I can't.
It's a different
I can't listen to
objectivity.
it objectively, because
so bring
that's the way the song
bring
goes.
in somebody you trust to co-produce with you.
That's
that
what I was
you'll draw
telling her.
from.
I need somebody. I need an executive producer to give me options. Like, do you like it this way, or do you like it this way? I like it this way. Okay, well, you choose now, this or this, and then I get to make. Okay, and be done.
Yeah.
'cause
And then be
you
done
just
with it,
spin
get
your
on to
wheels
the next project.
when you have the ability to go, 18 hours straight on a song without being yelled at. You're gonna
There's
do
no
it.
closing
Yeah.
time.
You're gonna do it. Yeah. There's no one telling you you're running out of time here.
The thing is that we're harder on ourselves.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we just are. We just are. Well, guys, I'm not going to tie y'all down. I know we're running late this evening, but God, it's been good having you guys down here.
We love
Thank
you.
you.
And
for having
Dustin, I love your music.
Thank you.
I love your songs. We think that all you guys are top quality of what you do in this industry. I'd recommend anybody to hire you
Thank
and
you.
give them opportunities
Please-
to come in
please do.
and entertain your troops out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So again, Justin Till,
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Aubrey Lynn,
Yes, sir.
until next time, and it won't be long.
It won't be long.
Dustin Hendricks, you're in the music room.
All right.